to creating momentum. This is the training right now that we've all been waiting for. Okay. And we're going to go through this information fairly quickly. Okay. So get on your mental seatbelts and let's run together. Okay. First law is this, right? Momentum is a leader's best friend. When you create momentum in your organization, man, everything can happen positive, right? That's how you really start to create massive momentum, or you start to create massive successes through momentum. So I love what John C. Maxwell says in law number 16 in his book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. He calls it the law of the big mo, right? And he says a train traveling at 55 miles an hour on a track, think about this, can crash through a 5-foot steel reinforced concrete wall without stopping. Just like hot butter, baby. You know what I mean? Like right through it, okay? That same train starting from a stationary position, it won't even get going if you put a 1-inch block in front of the driving wheel. Same train, same track, 5-foot thick steel reinforced wall, can't stop it when it's moving fast, when it's got momentum. But if it doesn't have momentum, a 1-inch block will stop it from taking action. So we want to understand momentum is what we are looking for. And I'm going to teach you exactly how to create momentum today. 3 stages of momentum, how to create momentum. John C. Maxwell talks about this, law of victory, law of big mo. Advancing momentum, he talks about law of explosive growth. And then third stage is sustaining momentum, talking about the law of legacy, right? So he talks about this in his books, and it's absolutely something you want to get familiar with, is momentum. So let's talk about it, okay? Here we go. Obviously, many of you are taking notes, but let's talk about momentum. Takes absolute focus, okay? If you ask me, hey, look, Tim, would you rather have 1,000 customers or 1,000 planners? I'd rather have 1,000 customers. I know some of you are like, what? No way, Tim, you'd rather have 1,000 planners. No, I wouldn't. I'd rather have 1,000 customers than 1,000 planners. However, if you ask me, Tim, would you rather have 1,000 customers or 1,000 leaders? I'll tell you 1,000 leaders. So understand, I'm not looking for planners. I'm looking for leaders, right? I'm not looking to sign somebody up. So when somebody gets started, I've got one focus and one focus alone, and get them to what? Senior manager, right? If I can get somebody to senior manager, I know they're going to succeed. I know they're going to make it happen, because once somebody goes senior manager, all they have to do from that point on is duplicate that and teach other people how to have that success. Because how do you become a team leader? 3 senior managers. How do you become a director? 3 team leaders. How do you become a senior director? 2 directors. How do you become a national director? 4 directors. So when I understood the compound, I said, wait a second. All I got to do is turn my organization into a senior manager factory. So when you get started in Riman right now, or you decide right now that you're going to take it to the next level, what you want to do is have absolute focus, okay? And understand that you can't create a leader, right, if you don't allow them to participate. But when you get somebody started as a planner, you want to fast track them to do what? Get to senior manager. So like when I start a conversation with somebody, right, that's gotten started, all I'm talking about is, we got to get you a senior manager. We got to get you a senior manager. We got to get you a senior manager. Because if I can get them to senior manager, all they're going to do at that point on is just teach and train other people to be able to do the same thing. And once you know how to do something, you can now teach it to others. It's kind of like if you don't know how to speak a language, it's going to be hard to teach other people how to speak it, right? So you have to learn how to become a senior manager first. And once you do that, it's the most important step in your Riman career. Why? Because after that, all you're going to be doing from that point moving forward is getting new people started and helping them do that. Right? Because when you hit senior manager, you're going to get a customer base. You're going to get, you're going to have some people on your team most likely. And it's just, this is where you want to go. Okay. So I always give the example, a magnifying glass can ignite a fire on a pile of leaves. If you concentrate the power of the sun, you got to concentrate the power of the sun through that magnifying glass at a focused, specific spot. You can't move around that magnifying glass. You got to keep it at a focused spot. And even if you magnify the power of the sun through the magnifying glass, you'll never start a fire if you keep moving it around. You got to keep it focused. And that's why when I got started in this industry, my mentor taught me right from the beginning, it's about getting people to that first earned rank. 30 years ago, we taught me that. And my first 6 months in direct selling, I made about $12. Okay, I was absolutely terrible. And once he taught me what I just told you right now, I made $147,000 in the next 6 months. Okay. So I'm telling you right now, when you get somebody started, man, you have got to understand right now, man, the clock is ticking. Somebody gets started on your team, man, you got to get on the phone with them and you got to get them excited like never before to do what? Obviously to do what? Get themselves to what? Senior manager. Okay, that's the focal point, and that's everything that we do. Because we want people to do what, right? Maybe host a pop-up, maybe introduce you to some people. All that's going to happen if they're focused on becoming a senior manager. But if you try to get them to take action, but they don't understand why, you're not going to be able to move them into action. They're going to hesitate a little bit because they don't understand why to do the pop-up. It's all about senior manager. The faster somebody goes senior manager, the faster their business explodes, right? Everybody knows that, okay? So never deviate, never complicate, right? You got to keep it simple, okay? And obviously we know planner manager's a little stepping stone, right, to senior manager than team leader. So let's never deviate from this or never complicate it. Keep it very simple, right? We all know, how do you become a senior manager? Very simple, right? We've got to accumulate 6,000 SP in a 3-month rolling period, but we want to do it within 1 month, right? If at all possible. We want to take action fast. So you get to count all the customers that you get, and the SP for every customer that buys. Every purchase you make counts, right? Everything that you buy counts. Everything that you sell through from a retail customer counts. And your frontline personal planners, their personal SP, whatever they sell or buy counts. So whatever they sell or buy and whatever you sell or buy, all accumulates to 6,000. And that needs to be everybody's focus, right? Anybody that has had experience in our business knows that a brand new person doesn't need to be focusing on anything other than sharing the products and sharing the opportunity. And once you've done an amazing job at that, bam, you have accumulated 6,000 sales points. Boom, you're a senior manager. The faster you do it, the faster your group is going to grow. Okay, the faster you do it. And if maybe you've been in for 5 months or 6 months, but you haven't really taken action, start over today. Okay, make today your first day and say, man, boom, this is my new start date today. And if you have one planner, you can obviously count, like, you can count up to 3,000 SP from one recruit. So if you recruit me and I get 6,000 personal sales, or I buy 6,000 SP, you can count up to 3,000 of my sales, right, to qualify for your senior manager rank. So make sure you understand how it works. It's the most important step that anybody will ever do. Okay, and I absolutely love it. So exciting. Okay, now the hardest way to become a national director is to focus on becoming a national director. Okay, that's the hardest way. The simplest way and the easiest way to become a national director is focus on promoting senior managers. So if you want to be a senior manager, you want to become a national director, all you got to do is get on that escalator of success, which is what? Hitting senior manager, get you on the escalator. And then all you got to do is encourage other people, get them on the escalator with you, and then boom, you're going to go all the way up to national director. But it's about teaching and training people how to become successful, okay? Some people are just going to want to go out there and promote the products, never build a team, but you can become a senior manager by promoting the products. Some people are going to want to build a distribution channel, right? And become, they want to have they want to leverage their time, right? They want to work a little bit smarter and obviously introduce other people to the opportunity. When somebody gets started, number one thing you got to do is what? Get them to senior manager, right? And then once they become a senior manager, find out who's on their team and boom, help them get to senior manager. And all you got to do is put a laser focus on creating senior managers and you'll create massive momentum, okay? So I always look at it like this. You have a thermometer. The thermometers record temperatures. Thermostats control temperatures. So you can control the temperature with the thermostat, but the thermometer reads it, okay? And when you look at your organization, you can see how many new planners that are getting started on your team, okay? That's how you know what the temperature organization is, okay? Now, how do you change the temperature? By getting new managers created, senior managers created. So when you're creating new senior managers, you're changing the temperature, right? You're turning up the heat in your organization, okay? And if you have a lot of planners getting started on your team, great, things are going well. That's growing like this, but you've got to make sure those new people getting started have become senior manager, okay? They've got to become senior managers. That's the most important step. Let's talk a little bit more about it, okay? Streamline your DMO, okay? Meaning what, right? The most important activity is building a successful Riman team is becoming a senior manager factory. Okay, this is what everything that you do is designed to get people to senior manager. Why do we do pop-ups? To get people to senior manager. Why do we talk to people about Riman opportunity? To help them get to senior manager. Why do we introduce people to the products? Right? To get customers that help us get to senior manager, or to teach people how to get customers. If I'm leading by example and I'm getting, tons of customers every month, it's easy for me to teach other people how to do it so they can go senior manager. Every activity that I do in Riman is designed to create senior managers. That's how focused I am. When somebody new gets started, to me, it's like a siren is going on. Woo, woo, woo. Like, it's like, we've got to get this person to senior manager, okay? And to me, that's the most important step. And I can tell you through my 30-year career, this is why we've been able to achieve success, because my mentor taught this at an early age, and I just realized I never focus on anything else than that, is helping people get started and get to the first earned position. And that's senior manager, okay? So let's talk a little bit more about it, right? A journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. So knowing that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with that first step, what step do you think is the most important? The first one, right? And that's what Lao Tzu is talking about, okay? Is Lao Tzu, basically what he's saying here, I'll translate it for you, To become successful in Riman, you got to get to senior manager. Okay, that's what he's really saying. That's what Laozi was talking about. Okay, he's saying to get to the top in Riman, you got to get to senior manager. Okay, he doesn't say it that way because it's a little bit more eloquent. He says the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. But whatever it is, regardless, we got to get people to senior manager. Okay, let's talk a little bit about how to create momentum. Grow your people and you grow your business. Okay, so my mentor taught me this at an early age. MLM is like a bucket, okay, that has a hole in it. Okay, you see that hole? And what happens is people get started in network marketing. He taught me this at like early on in my career, and this is what changed my life. He goes, people join, right? And they're getting started left and right. And people are getting in. They're signing up with Riman, right? They're getting started in direct selling, right? That is what happens, okay, in our industry. And as people get started, they might be getting started fast. Some people might take a little bit more follow-up. Some people, start and it takes a little bit more time, but people are jumping in that bucket. But the challenge is the hole in that bucket. So what happens is people fall out. As you can see, people are falling out of that hole, okay? So he said, in this is kind of like trying to fill a bathtub up, right, with water. If you're trying to fill a bathtub up with water and you don't have a stopper, right, that's not good. So people think, okay, I got to try to stop that bucket, but you can't fill that hole, right? You can't use that seal tape, right? That super seal tape or whatever that guy does in the commercial. The only way to get people not to fall out of the MLM bucket, right, to not fall out of the Riman bucket is to do this. You have to grow your people. So if this is a planner, planners easily fall out. But maybe this right here is a senior manager. It's going to be harder to fall out, right? Then this might be a team leader, even harder to follow out. This guy's a director. It's going to be even harder to what? Fall out. So as you grow your people, they can't squeeze through that bucket. So we want to get our people, planners are going to fall out that bucket fast, but senior managers, they're bigger. They can't fall out of the bucket. Team leaders are even bigger. They can't fall out. So we want to make sure that we're growing our people. And that's how you grow your business. New people get started, get them a senior manager. New people gets in, get them a senior manager. New people get started, get them a senior manager. That's the magic. So if right now you're not a senior manager, you're the most important person in the Riman opportunity. Okay, right now, you are everybody's focus. Everybody right now wants you to go senior manager, okay? Because that's how we're going to make it happen for you, okay? So always remember, there's 4 stages of learning, right? Everybody knows how to walk on this call, right? But when you get started in life, you don't know how to walk, right? You're just laying there. You don't even know what walking is, right? You're just a little baby, right? You're just crying. You're doing the duty in the diapers, and you're looking for something to eat. I mean, that's the consistency of your life. And then you start to realize as time progresses that people are walking around, right? You see people walking around. And when people are walking around, you think to yourself, man, I got to walk around too. So you start crawling. And that's stage 2. That's getting somebody to senior manager, okay? If people don't start crawling, they're never going to learn how to walk, right? And once you get somebody to that first stage, that second stage, then what happens is then they start walking, right? It takes a little bit of time, might be falling down, right? That might be team leader. And then finally they become, you don't even think about it. You can just do it. So the first stage is unconscious incompetent, as you can see. Unconscious mean you're unaware, incompetent mean you can't do it. So your first stage, you're unconscious. You're unaware that you can't do it. You're unaware that you're incompetent. Then you become aware that you can't do it. So you start crawling, right? Now you're conscious incompetent. You're conscious, you're aware you can't crawl, still can't do it, but you're getting after it, okay? And then what happens is you become a conscious competent. You can do it, but you've got to focus on it, right? And that's where the magic happens, okay? And then you get to the point where you're unconsciously competent. Like literally this morning, I woke up at 4 o'clock to do a Zoom with the Philippines, with a group in the Philippines, and just jumped on like 10 minutes before and just bam, went, right? It was like, boom, I was just ready to rock. You know what I mean? It doesn't take, it's like I can do this business, I can do trainings and stuff like that without even thinking about it because I've been doing it for so many years. But how do you get to that point? The first stage is getting out of that unconscious, incompetent stage. And that's getting to senior manager. So we got to grow our people, right? So let's talk about, you have to start successful to be successful. Everybody knows this, right? So when people get started, the first thing we do is a connection call. If your upline is not really too active, then you do an orientation, right? Get them on an orientation. Usually I'll do a connection call and get them on an orientation, but whatever, get together with your brand new people. Cause on a connection call is usually about 45 minutes and I spend about 30 minutes of a connection call getting somebody fired up out of their mind about becoming a senior manager. Okay. So I spend pretty much my entire connection call is getting to know them, letting them know they got support, got to get you to senior manager. Okay. And getting them completely laser focused on that. When somebody gets off my connection call, if you were to call them up and say, what's your number one focus? They'll tell you, senior manager, senior manager, senior manager, senior manager. And that's what you want to have, right? When people get off that first experience, somebody gets in, we meet with them, right? Whether it's you can meet with somebody, at a Starbucks if they're local or whatever, connect with them. get them excited like never before about being senior manager. And then we either do like a launch meeting, getting a bunch of people together, right? Or pop up. Basically, it's like launching their business, right? And getting people together. If it's live, you can experience the products. If people, if you're doing it for people outside of the area, then it might be a Zoom. But usually it's the most easiest is to get people that you know. And I like to do it within 24 to 48 hours. Okay. And I know what some of you are saying, well, you're not going to get that many people out there. Yeah, but the people that get out there, they're going to know it's urgent, right? Because when I call my buddies, I say, what have you got going on tomorrow night, dude? You got to cancel, bro. What you got to cancel. Get over to my house, dude. I got something big I'm going to show you. Boom, everybody did it, right? Because of my posture. But if I would have called him and said, well, maybe if you can come, that'd be great. And I'm going to be doing it next week. There's no urgency, right? So if they can't come, that's okay. But they know whatever I'm talking about is dead serious because I don't call my friends up every day saying, cancel whatever you're doing and get over here. So when you have more urgency and more excitement, mainly if you're not that kind of person, right? If you're kind of more of a quiet, timid person, when you come at people strong like that, they're going to freak out, right? And I just get together with people, and I don't care if it's one person, right? I want to get together with them fast because they're like, wait, you just found out about this yesterday and you're already showing me this? Then they're like, oh my God, this is amazing, right? This must be exciting, right? So I'm trying to set that tempo, set that pace. You do it however you want to do it. I'm just telling you what I do. That's all I can prescribe is on my own autobiography. We teach people how to attract people and invite them, right? You want to attract and attack. Don't just post up and hope people post and pray somebody reaches out. What you want to do is reach out to people. That's what I do, right? I want people to hear from me directly before they find out anything else that I've got my hands on something big so they feel exclusive, right? I invite them. Step 4, whenever I meet with somebody, pre-talk forum, find out their hot buttons, obviously. Get them exposed. The opportunity might be a Zoom opportunity presentation, might be a pop-up, might be a one-on-one Zoom, might be a one-on-one sit down at a Starbucks, right? Where I show them the products, whatever. I'm just getting together with people, showing them the business. Any objections they have, I help them overcome those, right? Get them started, receive the payment, help them get a set, right? I always make sure everybody gets a set because I want to help them win. And then what do? Plug them into the daily Zooms, right? The first 4 weeks, very important so they can hear the story over and over again and learn how to share it, get as many as they can. And then what do? Create a senior manager and duplicate, right? It's like, got to get them a senior manager now. And out of all these steps, number 9 is by far the most important. Learning how to create a senior manager. And my mentor called this the pipeline of success, right? He just draw a pipe and he would write up all these 9 steps. But the reality is number 9 is the most important, right? If you do all these other things good, but you don't get people fired up and excited about senior manager, they're not going to engage because they don't have a goal. Goals are what drive us. Everybody has to have a clear goal on when they're going to become a senior manager, and everybody wants to be a senior manager when? Before Black Friday, right? Everybody knows Black Friday is coming. So what's everybody doing? They're running to become a senior manager before Black Friday so they can cash in on all the Black Friday deals. Don't let this moment in time slip through your fingertips, right? Here's the best example, right? When a baby gets born, right? They're like, help me, right? And I look at it as successful start is helping somebody go senior manager, right? Okay. And they're like, help me become a senior manager, like a little baby, right? So in the first 24, 48 hours, new planners need to get connected and help them get results, right? Help them get excited because they've got people that are looking and interested in things like that. So here's how we do that, right? Is the excitement when they get started, man, it's going, right? They're fired up, man. I just found something I'm excited about. Now time progresses and what happens, right? We do a connection call, welcome call with them, get them excited about Riman. I like to get them connected with the upline team leader because he obviously benefits the most from their success, right? And obviously every team leader knows they want to create a lot of team leaders so they can be obviously a very successful director. And then what happens? Boom, right? You get people, you do that welcome call, you get them fired up about becoming a senior manager, and then bam, have them have that launch, right? Whether it be a pop-up, a Zoom, whatever. We're getting in front of people fast. And then what are we doing, right? Help them get senior manager, done, right? They're fired up. And then bam, right? Help them get to team leader. So it's like bam, 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 as fast as possible. The faster they go senior manager, the faster they're going to go team leader because they're going to create that story. I got started. I hit senior manager. Here's what I did. People are inspired, right? But it all starts with that welcome call, connection call. Because if somebody gets started and we don't get them connected, we don't do a welcome call, then what happens, right? They end up in the toilet, right? So we've got to make sure we've got to get them connected and get them excited on that connection call, that welcome call, get them excited about being a senior manager. Because if everybody, when they get started, how fast can you get them on their senior manager run, right? When are they going to start their senior manager run? Most important run you'll ever do is your senior manager run in Riman, okay? And we want to run for senior manager right now before Black Friday with all of our people, okay? So confidence is contagious. The last law here, I'm going to go through this real quickly, and we're going to be actually going to be done a lot earlier than I expected. When somebody's launching and they've got confidence, the example I give is imagine a board, like a 2x4, which is like 2 inches by 4 inches. I'm sorry if you're from the UK, inches are not what you guys do. You do centimeters, but it's like a board like this, right? And if it's off of 2 chairs, maybe a foot or 2 off the ground. And I said, hey, I'll give you $1,000 to walk across that. Everybody's doing it. Hey, I'll give you $10,000 to walk across that board. Everybody's doing it. Okay. But I take the exact same board. Okay. And I put it between 2 20-story buildings. Imagine, right? So somebody launches with confidence, go over there. We got a little dude there. What's he going to do? He's going to maybe be a little bit shaky, but he's going to cross the board. Okay. Because he's not afraid. Now, if I take that exact same board and I put it 20-story buildings, same board, nothing's changed. The difference is it's between 2 20-story buildings. And I say, I'll give you $10,000 to walk across it. Majority of people are not going to do that, right? Because why? They're going to be afraid of falling, right? Because they know if they fall, what's going to happen, right? If somebody falls off that building, right? We know what happens, okay? So the difference is launching with confidence and launching without confidence. When you get together with somebody on a call, if you've already gone senior manager, you know you can get them there. You are completely convinced you can help people go to senior manager. And that's all you have to do in our business to get to the top of the company, okay? Is to help people get started and go senior manager, right? That's the deal. So let's talk a bit about it. Connection call, right? You want to find out, what do they want, right? Do they want to get on the fast track or the regular track, okay? You know, how much money do they want to make, right? Walk them through the enrollment, the customer links, touch a heart before you ask for the hand, discover their why, you know, give them 5-year vision casting, you know, help them pick a pack, you know, one of the starter sets. Any objections, overcome it. If they don't have a set, I always encourage people to get as many products as they can, right? Why? Super simple. Why? Because I want them to make money. Somebody goes to war and they've only got 1 bottle of Boo Say Boo. They're just like, dude, they might only give them 1 squirt. I'm over here just boom. Look at me. I'm just squirting all over myself. This is ridiculous. I was open on that last one, but hey, we're doing whatever it takes. So realize when you have a lot of products, you're going to be able to get them on more people, right? If you've only got 1, if I've got 1 bottle of X cream, man, I'm like, oh my goodness, right? I got to make this thing last, right? And I might just be like, just giving people just a little bitty scoop, right? So understand the more products people have, the more successes. That's their sales force, right? Launching the business document, show them where this is. It's in the drive. Help them make a list. That we all know that. Schedule their launch pop-up or online call. I like to do it within 24 to 40 hours if they're on the fast track. If they're not, that's fine too. Speed and exposure, right? Success loves speed, okay? Success loves speed, okay? And the most important part of my connection call is rank advance from my new planner to senior manager. That's my entire focus. So when I get on the call with somebody, these other 8 steps are very minimal, meaning that I'm probably going to spend 15 minutes on this other stuff. The most important thing I'm going to spend is 30 minutes talking to people about why and how it's so important to go senior manager. When they get off the call with me, they have no doubt. All they're thinking is senior manager, senior manager, senior manager, right? Because that's all I'm talking about, okay? So here it is. The fast track, getting somebody to senior manager 1 to 4 weeks, right? The slow track, 1 to 3 months, okay? That's the normal track. I don't want to say slow track. But if somebody wants to make 500 to 1,000 a week or 500,000 a day, we're putting them on the what? Fast track. If they want to take the slow track or the normal track, 500,000 a month, okay? So once you know what they want, you want to set them up for get them a game plan to get that, right? If somebody's like, man, I just want to make $500 a month, we're not going to tell them, you know what I mean? They need to go senior manager this week. But if somebody's like, man, I'm going to make 500,000 a day, it's like, dude, we got to get you to senior manager. So right now, so I'm always looking at what people want and then giving them a game plan to be able to get it. So you look at what they want, you find out what it is they want, and then what do? Give them, understand what track are they on, and then give them a game plan to be able to do it, right? Very simple. Because you guys that are all senior managers, you know, if you went senior manager in, let's say 2 months, you know you could have done in a month because it was already predetermined how many people you're going to have to talk to. Whether you had to talk to 50, you had to talk to 10, you had to talk to 5, you had to talk to 75, I don't know. Whatever you had to do is what you had to do. But that was already predetermined, meaning that you could have talked to those exact same people in a month, you could have talked to those same exact people in a week, or you could have talked to those same exact people in a 3-month period. It's going to take what it's going to take. So knowing that, it's easier to condense the time frame and take action immediately so you can propel your success and create a better story. Just makes sense, right? Be confident. So here's the law number 20, the law of explosive growth. Leaders develop leaders, they want to be succeeded. This is how you create massive momentum. Leaders develop followers, they need to be needed, right? Leaders that develop leaders, they focus on people's strengths. Leaders that develop followers, they focus on people's weaknesses, right? Leaders that develop leaders, they focus on the top 20. People that develop, the leaders that develop followers focus on the bottom 20, right? Leaders that develop leaders, they give the power away. Leaders that develop followers, they hoard the power, right? Leaders that develop leaders, guess what? They grow by multiplication. Leaders that develop followers, they grow by addition. So momentum is created by high morale. High morale is created by victory, okay? And that promoting, and it basically, that promoting should be over there a little bit, okay? But basically it says, by promoting your first people to for the first position, which is senior manager. Okay. So that's how we create massive momentum. Okay. And how we take it to the next level and sustain it. Okay. So understand, Popeye, a lot of you guys don't know Popeye. Maybe some of you do, but Popeye was a sailor man, right? And what would happen is, he was kind of like a nice guy or whatever, but he wasn't really like, he wasn't doing big things. And what would happen in every episode of Popeye is this guy named Brutus, who was not the nicest guy on the planet, would start bullying Popeye, and they would take his girlfriend, right, Olive Oil. And what would happen every time is Popeye would get upset, right? Popeye would get bummed out. And then what he would do was like kick Brutus's butt. But in order to do that, he had to open up a can of spinach. And every time before he opened up that can of spinach, he says, I stands all I can stands, I can't stands no more. One of the greatest quotes in the history of the universe. You think about all the great quotes that have ever been said, I think Popeye's got to be up there. I stands all I can stands, I can't stands no more. When you get to that point in your life where I stands all I can stands, I can't stands no more, and you open that can of spinach, you go senior manager, it's game over. You become Popeye on spinach, okay? When you become a senior manager, you become Popeye on spinach, okay? And that's how we're going to do it, right? If you're not a senior manager right now, we're going to get that done here before Black Friday. Always remember, you're the lead dog, right? And the speed of the pack is determined by lead dog. You're the lead dog. You're the pace of your own team. So we've got to take action now, okay? We got to understand that confidence is contagious. Everybody knows to become a senior manager, you need on paper 3. But as soon as you become a senior manager, where you want to start developing other senior managers, okay? And what I can tell you right now to make the big money is you want to have 10 legs of senior managers. Now that might take you 8. You might be a team leader in 4 months, 3 months, 2 months, 1 month, whatever, with 3 or 4 senior managers. But you still got your eyes on creating 10, okay? Because you build wide for profitability, you build depth for stability, but you build wide for profitability. To make big money fast, you want to build 10 senior manager legs. You never want to make your minimums or maximums, okay? This is how we flew through the comp plan so fast. We had 10 legs running. And then once you become a team leader, what I teach people is this. To become a team leader, you want to be a director, create 10 team leaders. You create 10 team leaders wide and you watch how big your check is, okay? Because I can show you my directors that are 10 wide and show you their checks. You'd be like, dang, this is where the big money's at. Okay, this is where the big money's at. So you build 3 team leaders to get to director, but you build 10 to make the big money. So once you want to be going wide and building strength, not just signing people up, right? And then getting, saying, see you later. You want to grab them, launch them, get them to senior manager fast. The faster you get to senior manager, the quicker they're going to get to team leader. And you take them through the program, right? You take them through to what it takes to be successful. Let's do a real quick call to action. You want to have 3 guests no matter what on the opportunity overview. Everybody does, because they know right now this is the time to expose Riman to everybody. This weekend, we've got so many pop-ups scheduled throughout the country. Everybody's got so many pop-ups going on right now this weekend. This is going to be a working weekend right now because everybody knows we got to get the products on people. We got to be exposing people to this opportunity right now more than ever before, so we can help everybody become a senior manager before Black Friday. We know right now, get your new planners qualified for the November start date, fast start. Meaning what? Anybody that joins in November, hit senior manager this month, and bam, you get $500 worth of free product credit. Never been more excited. Then obviously register for Roadmap, right? And get right now running for Black Friday. Okay, Black Friday is happening right here, right now, and there's never been a better time, okay? There's never been a better time to take action. So we got to make up our mind right now to say, this is it, right? This is my time to make it happen. This is my time to step up. Right now, you want to help your people and your friends and the people that you know and your acquaintances and people that you have contact with, you want to help them make a lot of money for the holiday season. How do we do that? We get them in now, we get them trained, get them a senior manager before Black Friday, and we're off to the races. We got time to do that, okay? This is it. This is the time where you want to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to step up, right? If I'm not a senior manager right now, I'm going to look, you know what? No matter what, over, under, through, I'm getting it done. I'm going senior manager no matter what, okay? I'm, no matter what, getting that done. Now, if right now you're already a senior manager, you got to be thinking, I'm creating 1 senior manager right now. Don't be thinking about, I've got to get everybody a senior manager on my team. Grab the person that's running the hardest, and then bam, let's get them a senior manager first. And grab the next person, get them a senior manager. And go senior. Focus in on 1 brick at a time. Brick by brick, inch by inch, it's a cinch. Yard by yard, it's hard, right? If you're trying to get everybody to senior manager at one time, focus on 1. Getting them there quick. Create 1 senior manager if you've already seen. If you're not a senior manager right now, man, you know what to do, right? You know what to do. Get senior manager as fast as possible to create that success story. Okay, create that success story and make a decision in your mind and making a decision in your heart right now that says, this is it, right? This is my time to make it happen. This is my time to be a success. This moment in time, it'll never be recreated again. And I know right now everybody's running and making it happen, but you have to streamline your focus when a new person gets started. If I called every new person on your team and asked them, what's your focus? What would they be saying? Somebody gets off a call with me, they know, dude, I got to go senior manager right now. Okay. Because if people have a goal, if I'm running hard to become wealthy in Riman and my team's not running with me, it's because they're not running for something. So I've got to get my new people running for senior manager, and then we're all running together. So all the people right now that are on my team, I got to get them running for senior manager. How do I do that? I got to have a conversation with them and tell them right now, look, this is it, right? We're going to make it happen. Over, under, through, I'm getting you to senior manager this week. I'm going to make sure no matter what that you win big. This window of opportunity, it's never going to be recreated again. This moment in time, it'll never be duplicated again. Right now, we're opening up that we're taking Riman around the world. Okay, we already announced in Asia, we already announced Thailand. Okay, I know Jane Louie, I know you're not excited about that, right? I guarantee she was crying when they made that announcement. But it's like, this is it, man. This is our time. We got to make a commitment right now because Riman's going to become a multi-billion-dollar company whether we do anything or not. Okay, so we've got to decide right now that we're going to the top. And how do you get to the top? One senior manager at a time. Get somebody started, get them a senior manager. 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 That's it. That's it. That's how we become wealthy. Because if you get somebody to senior manager, we already know the numbers tell us that they're going to go team leader. If they go team leader, we already know the numbers tell us they're going to go director. If they go director, we already know they're going senior director. The most important number is planner to senior manager. And when you get that percentage of people high, your organization is going to grow like wildfire through a dry brush field. Doesn't matter how smart you are. I'm proof of that. Never graduated high school, probably the dumbest guy on this call. Right? Doesn't matter how good you look, because I might be the ugliest dude on this call too. Right? None of that matters. What matters is what? How bad you want to win in your heart in getting people to senior manager. If you want to go to the top, I can tell you how to do it. How do you climb the ladder success? One ring at a time. The first rung on the ladder, senior manager. Right now, who do you have in your organization that's not senior manager? If you look in the mirror and you see somebody there that's not senior manager, your head is about to pop off because you just found the easiest person to get to senior manager. I found him. I looked in the mirror and bam, there they are, right? And I'm going to grab that person in the mirror and I'm running to senior manager. That's the magic. That's the magic. And I can tell you right now, make a commitment in your heart right now. People get started, they want to win. People get started in Riman, they want to be successful. They want to make it happen. They want to do something great here. They don't want to look back and be like, man, yeah, I got started in Riman and my friend became a millionaire. They don't want to say that. They want to become wealthy too. So what do we got to do? We got to grab everybody right now in our organization that's not a senior manager, and we got to run with them to get a senior manager, over, under, or through. No matter what, I'm going senior manager. No matter what. Because if you hit senior manager already, you already know what it takes. You know exactly what it takes to hit senior manager. You did it. You did it. And if you're humble enough to realize that you're nobody special, then that means you can help other people do it. I'm smart enough to know that I'm not smart. I'm smart enough to know that I don't look good. I know that I'm smart enough to know that when I got started, I was 17 years old, homeless, living on people's couches or living on top of a schoolhouse. But I knew that if I could hit that first position and I could teach people to do it over and over and over and over and over again. And how do you inspire people? By believing in them. By believing in them. And making sure you grab them right at the beginning and you get them running. This is how you create momentum. This is how you change your life. Don't get overcomplicated. How do I do, oh man, I got to do $500,000 in volume. How do I do $500,000 in volume to be a national director? You don't. You focus in on one senior manager at a time, one senior manager at a time, one senior manager at a time, one senior manager at a time. Teach everybody one senior manager at a time, one senior manager at a time, one senior manager at a time. Focus on that activity, and I guarantee you, your life is going to change. It is a decision that you've got to make right now in your mind and your heart that nothing's going to stop me. Nothing's going to get in my way. Over, under, through, man, I'm going senior manager. And if you're already senior manager, I'm making a decision in my heart, over, under, through. I'm going to make sure everybody that gets started on my team is going to be a senior manager. One of my favorite quotes of all time by Bill Russell. Bill Russell is the most winning basketball player of all time. He played basketball for 11 seasons, and 10 of them, he won an NBA championship. And they asked Bill Russell, they brought him in to talk to the Celtics before one of their games. And they asked him, they said, Bill, how did you win so many championships? And Bill's a real humble guy. One of the most humble guys, right? In all of sports, because he doesn't talk about being the greatest. He said, I had an ego. And everybody was like, what? He goes, I had an ego for my team. He goes, the only regret that I have in basketball is the one season I got hurt because I couldn't help my team win the championship. He said, my sophomore season of college, we lost. And I cried in that locker room after that loss. He said, we're never losing again. 2 years in a row, boom, boom, back-to-back NCAA championships in college. 11 years of basketball, 10 championships. Unbelievable. But he had an ego for his team. Somebody gets started in your organization, somebody gets started in your team, they're going to the top. They're going to make it happen. Why? Because you're going to be there for them every step of the way to make sure no matter what, that we get them to senior manager. We're running right now. We're running harder than ever before. This is our time. This is our chance. Make a decision in your mind. Make a commitment in your heart to say, this is it. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to get there. And I'm going to do it brick by brick, inch by inch, senior manager by senior manager. I'm going to teach the same thing. We're going to duplicate senior manager. We're going to turn into a senior manager factory. We're going to go straight to the top, and everybody on my team is going to win. With that being said, I love you guys. Hope you guys got some great information. I'll make the recording available in about an hour on the Team 1% Facebook page. Appreciate you guys this time. Love you guys. We'll see you guys at the top. Let's make it happen, everybody.